through Newton's Vault. So far it has been remarkably empty, apart from a few things that were named on the map I was in. This is the first system I have found with anything really interesting in it in Newton's Vault, and I'm a good 3/4 of the way through now. Right, so let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far. Right, so here is the map of the galaxy. So we started in Sol, we went to the tip of the closest spiral arm at the edge, followed that around, and we are now in Newton's Vault. I did find a few interesting things on the map yesterday, but nothing major. We are now about here, and I have found a system with an Earth-like world in it and about 5 planets with plant life on them. Right, so let's go to the game now. If you haven't looked at this before, I'll put the link in chat in a second, but you can click on these and it will take you in, and you can see the images and also links to the YouTube videos. So they're all the images from all the different things that we visited, along with links to the Twitter account, Twitch account, YouTube. This is a description of the tour. That is a link to my Commanders in Era page, and the ship, and if you click on here that will give you the Elite Dangerous Shipyard build, so you can see precisely how the ship's set up. Although I'm not sure if the maths on that's quite right. My jump range is a little bit longer than they suggest it should be. Also the previous tour of the galaxy I did, and a link to the notice board, so if you want to post any notes, any questions, or just post some photos of places you've been, you can come on here, click on the plus button, and publish something. I will need to authenticate it before it will go live, so if anything inappropriate's on there, then it won't be seen by anybody other than me, and if that happens a lot, I'll just close the page down. Right, so let's go to the game now. Right, so from this scan of the galaxy, of the system, which I have already done, I've not left the star yet. We're still at the star, but this is what we've seen by scanning the system. So we have an Earth-like world here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 landable planets with atmospheres there, and I think all of those have 2 forms of biological life on there, and I think this one also does here, but I will be scanning every planet in this system to see what's there, and we will start with the closest one to the star.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, just checking the sound level, seeing if it's okay. Right, just checking the sound level, seeing if it's okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. So while we're flying over to here, I will put the link to the map on the screen. So if you do want to go and have a look, see where I've been, see where we're going, all that information will be on there. So I'm not expecting to find anything on this planet worth landing on it for, so we're just basically scanning every planet in the system just to get my name on it. I only do that when there's an Earth-like world, when I discover an Earth-like world. If it's already been discovered, then I will just scan the Earth-like world. But
Surface scan
if
by
I do find an
50%.
Earth-like world, I like to scan everything in the system.
Surface scan complete.
Right, so the system map now. We'll choose the next star. Oh, this is actually, yeah, I think this is actually the Earth-like world. It is, so I will take a screenshot in orbit of that when we get there.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete. Surface scan complete.
Right, just realised my mic's not been on for a while. Don't know what the last thing I said was, but anyway, we have just scanned an Earth-like world and a water world, and we're now heading to a high metal content world, which I don't expect anything to be on. Yeah, so the next one has got a planet next to it which may have something on it. I've seen another nebula there in the distance. That looks very similar to the nebula we went to visit in the conduit. Might have a look on the map to see how far out of the way that is, or whether it's actually worth going to visit that. So of course it may be in entirely the opposite direction to where we're heading to. So after scanning this system, we'll be heading towards, I can't remember what it is actually, it's just something I picked randomly off the map that's on the way. Yeah, so we'll go there and see it, and again it's mainly on the way to the next fleet carrier is where we're heading. And that is right in the very corner of this sector. So after we scan this planet, I'll get the galaxy map up again, so you can see where we are.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
So that's that one done. It's 900 light seconds away. Right, let's look at the galaxy map. Yeah, so it looks like I have set the target to be the fleet carrier over here, right on the corner between 4 sectors. We'll then be carrying on to a fleet carrier over here after that, but I doubt very much we'll get that far today. Yeah, so the next fleet carrier is 47 jumps away, so that is about an hour to get there. And I suspect we'll probably be in this system for about an hour. So yeah, I'll probably end the stream by the time when we finish scanning this system. If it doesn't take too long, I might start that journey. So we should see 2 planets here, and the second one is one of the possible places that there is life. So scan the big one first, and then we'll go over to the second one. Oh, it's got a polarized cap on it.
Surface scan complete.
Right, so this one we can land on. It's also got an atmosphere, which means there's a pretty good chance there will be life on there. I'm fairly sure every planet I saw on the system with life on it had 2 forms of life, but if it just has bacterial life, we'll ignore it and continue to the next planet. If it has more than 1 form of life, or anything that's not bacterial, I will go and investigate. I'm still too far away to do that. Let's go a bit closer. So we need to get the planet to be about the same size as the arc that surrounds it. That means we're close enough to fire probes into the planet. The only exception to that is if you've got a large gas giant that's sort of like requires 10 or 15 probes, then it needs to be a little bit bigger in your screen.
Surface scan by 50%.
Yep, so we do have life, we have shrubs and tussock. So right, so tussock seems to only be growing. Let's go and find the tussock first. It only seems to be growing on the poles. Assuming that as it's the opposite side of the planet, that they are actually the poles. So we want to try and find an area where both are located, so we don't have to fly around and go somewhere else. So now we've got a better view of where it is. Let's see where the other stuff is. I really ought to have a button where we could change this without having to go into this view. Right, so right. So it does seem like they're pretty much
flight engaged.
mutually exclusive. Alright, let's go back to the tussock view, and tussock's normally an easy one to find. Right, so I'm not sure if I'm reading the heat map right. I think the lighter blue areas are higher concentrations, and where it is a solid colour, that's even higher still, and the speckly areas are lower concentrations. So I'll try and land in a solid blue area. Oh, sorry about that. Right, so tussock's very small. It's like a grass, so we will need to get out of the ship in order to be able to fight that. But it looks like flat land, so if we land and just drive around, we should be able to cover some ground, a lot of ground quite quickly. Right, so landing gears down.
Landing gear deployed.
Auto landing's kicked in. I'll let it land for me, although it's not. Yeah, I had it turned on for the last planet because it was very mountainous. I'm trying to find a spot to land on a mountainous area is quite tricky. Right. So let's get an SRV out. So you can see from that this is the first time I have used the SRV since I last visited a fleet carrier, because it's fully refueled.
Low gravity warning.
Don't know why that was a bit slow. Right, so I'm seeing minerals on the map here. As I'm a bit short on iron, I might as well head in the direction of minerals. Phosphorus, molybdenum. What else is on there? Germanium. I don't think I need germanium. Oh, I do need germanium.
Cargo scoop deployed.
What else was it? Iron. So yeah, iron's the main thing I'm short of at the moment. Iron and nickel. Right, so as it's very flat, it doesn't really matter if the spaceship takes off and leaves us, we just can call it anywhere. So we might as well head off looking for minerals. Don't know what happened there. Alright, so I'm seeing on the scanning radar you can see there, that's the ship in front of us, so anything in the top of the radar is man-made. Anything in the bottom half of the radar is natural minerals. As we get closer to them, the signals will get more focused and stronger. So I can see a very weak signal there, which I think is a metallic meteorite or a metallic outcrop. Frozen again. Alright, so I don't know what's happening now. I'm not clicking any buttons and it's boosting for me. Alright. If you're not an Elite Dangerous player, you can steer the SRV while it's flying, but you can't get it to change direction. So you can change the way it's pointing a little bit. Yeah, you basically point at it, then you take off, and you're hovering until you land. But you can you have a little bit of choice over which direction you face. and if you're point downwards in thrust, it will propel you forwards a little bit faster. Alright, so there's one of them. That did look like a metallic outcrop, which are normally very good for quite large quantities of the rarer stuff. But in this case, I think I'm fully stocked on all of these. Yeah, carbon, I don't need any carbon, and sulfur. I don't think I need sulfur either. Alright, okay. Still not seeing any plants. I suppose I should have been looking a little bit more carefully. But again, we've still got a lot of these minerals around here. So tussock normally shows up as very green. In fact, I think that's some directly in front of us now. So that was, oh, lots of iron, that's good. Alright, so I'm actually nearly full up with iron. I thought I was more empty than that. And again. Right, the reason I was low on iron is because I had to synthesize some limpets to repair the ship, and I accidentally boosted into a planet about 4 or 5 fleet carriers back. So yeah, this is nearly filled us up with iron. Right. That looks like the tussock in front of us. So we'll get out and scan that. Right, so normally these appear in huge, great big patches. Right, so I've just got first footfall on this planet, as you'd expect, as it's a system that nobody's ever scanned before. Yeah, right, let's go and shoot the next boulder in front of us. That one looks like bronzite from the scan. Oh no, it's another outcrop. Molybdenum. What else have we got? Molybdenum, nobidium, or neobidium. Do I need that? Yes, I do. Okay, so tellurium, I think I'm okay on. Yep. There's more germanium. Right, so before I left the bubble, I stocked up on absolutely everything. So anything that I do need to pick up is stuff that is used for synthesis on the way. So yeah, it's useful to be stocked up on all of it. So there are a couple of things you can synthesize. There are, or you can do frameshift drive injection, which gives you additional range. You can also synthesize limpets, which I use to repair the ship. And if you're in combat, you can also synthesize ammunition and heat sinks to cool you down. because I'm in an exploration ship, I'm not actually carrying any proper weapons. I've just got a mining laser or a lance mining laser, which can be used as a weapon, but it's just an emergency thing. Right, so that is bronzite. Sulfur, carbon, what's the other one? More sulfur. Right, so we'll leave that one. There is another one over here. Nickel. Right, so nickel is now our #1 priority. And what's the other things we just found here? Iron. So iron, that should top us up with iron, or at least very nearly top us up. And that was all we needed from there. Right. So spin around again. Look at the radar. See if there's anything. Right, so the radar is totally empty now. So what I would normally do then is pick a direction and just head in the same direction. And heading towards the star is normally a good thing. Right, so we are now mainly looking for plants rather than for minerals. I found those last plants on a bumpy area, so let's head to another bumpy area. Alright, found another mineral there, so that's more bronzite.
Drive assist on.
And what we've got. Manganese, more germanium. Yeah, seem to use quite a lot of that. I think that was all we wanted from there. Yep. Right, so that single line in front of us, that is masonite, I think that's how you pronounce it. That normally has slightly rarer metals in it, but not in very large quantities. Iron, so I need 1 iron and then I'm full up with iron. And what was the other one? Molybdenum, which I don't need. Right, so I'm looking for plants. No sign of any green bits. Tussock are normally pretty easy to find. Something interesting over there, I'm not quite sure what it is. It might just be a rock. Yeah, it's just a rock. There's some. Right. Because that's such a nice sunset, I will use this location for the screenshot. I've lost the plants now, there they are. So I'm trying to park the SRV between the plants and the sun. And disembark.
Drive assist off.
Right, so we'll scan that. Then switch into camera mode and take a screenshot. Yeah, trying to get those cracks in the ice over there in the shot. To be quite high up to get that, and then you can't get the sun in. Let's go with that. I think that's about as good as we're going to get with that. Right, so we'll save that as a screenshot. And let's get the name of the planet so that I've got a record of where it was. Right, okay. While we're here, I might as well select the next planet for us to visit. Oh, I can't do that because we're on foot. We need to be in the spaceship to be able to do that. Right, so again, make sure I scanned it, because yeah, that's already been scanned. Now I did see some more over here. I think this is probably too close to count as a different species. Let's just check though. No, yeah, that is too close.
Drive assist on.
Right, let's point roughly, again, roughly towards the star. Interesting rock over there. Oh no, it's two rocks.
assist off.
Or put all pips to engines, that'll make it go a little bit quicker.
Drive assist on.
There we go, there's a little bit more. Alright, let's recall the ship before
Ship
we
recalled.
get out to scan it.
Drive assist off.
Right, so that's that complete. We'll see the other planet up there. We should see the ship landing now. Don't know where that's going. Don't know why it's gone all the way over there to land, when there's several perfectly good areas around here for it to land, but anyway, that's where it's gone.
Drive assist on.
And now it's disappeared. Right, let's recall
Ship
it again.
recalled.
That looked very much like it was below the horizon. I'm not quite sure what had happened there. There we go. Should be somewhere up there. There we go. It's doing the tipping over thing. Right, so one more planet to scan around this star, and then we'll head
Power
off.
plant capacity exceeded.
Head off to the other star. Let's get some altitude before we start pointing towards it, although it looks like it is pretty much directly above us, so it shouldn't make much difference.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Actually, I only scanned one of the things on that planet. I was going to scan the shrubs as well. Oh, too late now. I'll do that on the other planets if they've got them. Shrubs are normally pretty easy to find anyway, so I've scanned plenty of those already. Right, so the numbers we're seeing next to the circle in front of us, that is the top number is the distance in light seconds, and the bottom number is how long it's going to take us to get there at our current speed. So if we weren't accelerating, it would be taking us 1.5 days. Now we will be accelerating to probably about 6c between here and there, so 6 times the speed of light. So that's why the number will drop rapidly. So yeah, we're seeing it's down to hours now, 2 hours, 1 hour. Now it's into minutes. When that number gets down to 6 seconds, we need to slow down to 75%, otherwise we will overshoot the planet and then we'll be forced to do a loop of shame, turn around and come back. You can get around it a little bit, so if it goes down to 5 seconds, then if you do a dip, then you can add a little bit of extra distance and avoid doing a complete loop of shame. Right, so there we go, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7. So we'll back off to 75% throttle, and then that will then it will drop to 6 seconds, but it won't drop below 6 seconds, and it will give us plenty of time to slow down once we get to the right distance from the planet. And the right distance is when the planet is the same size as the arc around it. Oh, it's gone below. Right, so we just got it back. So yeah, we saw it went to 5 seconds there, but we caught it quite quickly. If we hadn't done, we would have just shot straight past it. And we should be able to scan it at that distance. Right, so if you go a bit closer, it will take a little bit less time to scan it because the probes don't have to move so far. But it will also mean it will take you longer to fly away from the planet because you get caught in the gravity well. So yeah, trying to keep it that distance means you save a little bit of time when you set off towards the next planet, which is this gas giant over here with a lot of moons to scan. Now, as this is a ringed planet we're heading to now, sometimes the rings interfere with the probe's trajectories, so I normally find it's best to scan a ringed planet from the edge of the ring. That way you can fire above the ring and below it to get the probes to fly around the planet to the back. I find if you try and go above the planet and shoot through the rings, Sometimes you can't get the right trajectory and the probes just keep hitting the rings. Right, so that is 30,000 light seconds. That's probably going to take about 10 minutes. So what I normally do when it's going to take that long is I'll pick something from the codex and we'll read it out. So I have been going through the knowledge base on individuals, and I think Edmund was the last one. So we're now on to Felicia Winters. So click on there, click on play.
Individuals, Felicia Winters.
Right, so we'll listen to this.
Politics has always been a breeding ground for lies. But one lie outshines all the others. And today, we heard it once again. It is the insinuation that to seek a diplomatic solution is weak. That a preference for discussion over conflict means we're afraid to fight. We are accustomed to this, of course. We've heard the president's supporters pervert our words again and again. When we face up to the Federation's previous wrongs, they mock us for our so-called liberal guilt. When we celebrate a détente between the superpowers that will help us oppose the Thargoid menace, they imply that we are traitors. But it is they who are afraid, and with good reason. Because the people of the Federation have had enough. They will no longer be manipulated into reckless conflicts that serve only to fatten the wallets of the arms dealers and the privileged. They will no longer pretend that Hudson's tub thumping and saber rattling is anything more than vacuous propaganda. From star to star, Connolly to complex, satellite to station, we hear the same heartfelt cry. Let the mistakes of the past remain in the past, and let the Federation embrace only the best of itself. Let us return to the core values of hard work, honest trade, support for the vulnerable, and mutual respect. The people are ready for us. Let us be ready for them.
Felicia Winters, Liberal Party Annual Address, 3303. Felicia Winters is the head of the Liberal Party of the Federation, and as such serves as ex officio shadow president, opposite President Zachary Hudson of the Republican Party. Winters was born and raised on Taylor Colony, one of the oldest human colonies, and worked for the Sirius Corporation before going into politics full-time at the age of 44. Her current role was thrust upon her unexpectedly. Prior to 3301, Winters was Secretary of State to then-President Jasmina Halsey. When both Halsey and Vice President Ethan Naylor went missing aboard Starship One, Winters became acting president. The assumption of this responsibility left her visibly shaken, and despite her popularity in Congress, it was widely felt that she was not up to the job. The Liberal Party was in a state of crisis at the time following the Lu conflict. A group of forces had sought to make the Lu system independent from federal control, prompting a declaration of war from the Federation. Many of the party's supporters were shocked by President Halsey's decision to open fire on refugee ships during the conflict. According to reports, Winters had questioned the action, arguing passionately with her friend Halsey behind closed doors, while maintaining a front of public solidarity. Consequently, she found herself responsible for a party whose voter base had largely deserted it, and whose values had slipped out of alignment with her own. Shortly after Halsey's disappearance, Zachary Hudson called for an emergency vote of no confidence that he resoundingly won, resulting in his appointment to the role of president. Given the massive support for Hudson and the disarray among the Liberals, Winters was expected to resign and let the Liberal Party rebuild itself from the ground up. Instead, she threw herself into her work, leading efforts to persuade various systems not to defect to the Alliance, and distributing aid packages to planets in need. Her energetic and proactive approach led to fresh support for both her and her party, and she currently rivals Hudson in the popularity stakes.
Right, so that was all about Felicia Winters. Sounds like one of the nicer leaders. Yeah. Anyway, that is taken up that 30,000 light seconds, and we're now nearly at our target. So we're pretty soon going to have to slow down once we get to the 7-second mark. So 9, 8, 7. So slow down to 75%, and this should take us straight into the. We want to get onto the edge of the disk for this planet. So we will be flying past all its moons on the way in, and then we'll work our way out again before heading off to the next planet. So we see the planet here is much bigger than the ring. That's because it is quite a large planet, and I'm trying to keep very close to the edge of the disk. Problem here is I may go a little bit too close to it because I can't actually tell how far away it is. Right, so that looks like a good place to stop around there. So we should be there. Let's stop there. Right, so let's see how many probes this is going to take. Right, so it says 20, so I'm going to try and do this in about 12. So first I'll fire off a cube pattern around it. I'll fire one into the ring as well, just to map the ring.
Surface scan complete.
Right, that should put one on the front, back, top, bottom and both sides. Getting the one on the back is the trickiest because it's quite hard to work out
by 50%.
Where that actually is. Oh, spot on in the middle of the back. Right, so so there is a bigger gap at the back than the front, so we'll the line there in the center of the ring means it's the horizon. Now we see there's a bigger gap on the far side, so we need to go a little bit further away, and that will hopefully plant one in those gaps at the corner on the other side. So we'll do that on all the corners on the back. And then that will hopefully map the whole planet. Now my probes do have extended range on them, so the estimated 20 will be far more than I actually need. So it looks like I may just about do it in 10. Yeah.
Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so that's it for there. We'll just fly forwards a little bit more and just make sure they're on 2 rings. So some planets have 2 rings, and yeah, so this one's got 2 rings. So we've mapped the outer one. We can tell that because it's showing hotspots for mineral resources. So let's just fire one off and get it into that inner ring. And yeah, so we see as we move away from the central planet, it says ring, and it stops, and it says ring again. So the stop is the gap between the 2 rings. So we want to aim when it says ring. So there we go. That's the other ring mapped.
Surface scan complete.
And we see there's a few hotspots on there as well. Right, so now we need to start mapping the moons. So let's go to the system map and pick a moon. We'll work away from the planet, just so we know which ones we've done already. It's almost certainly not the shortest route between the moons, but it's better than going through and repeating the same one twice. Now I have got a little bit close to the planet here, so if I aim at about 90 degrees to it, or a little bit more, actually get a little bit more distance, we'll speed up quicker. If I headed directly towards that moon, it would mean going very close to the planet, and a planet that size really drags your speed down. Yeah, so we can see we're accelerating okay. Now moons are generally 2 or 4 probes. See, I overshot that a little bit. It's very easy to do when you're going away from one planet towards another. The 6-second window is very small then. Okay, so it's saying 2 probes. So I'll just fire one on the front and one on the back. The probes do curve around the planet with gravity, so you can hit the back without having to fly around the other side, and I can
Surface
put it
scan
between
by
front and back
50%.
view.
Surface scan complete.
So we're seeing geological activity on there, so we've got geysers and ephemerals. I'm not interested in geological activity in this trip. Right, we'll select the next moon. Again, given the planet a wide berth, we don't want to get any closer to the planet than the rings are. That will slow us down. Seems particularly bad today. 30 frames a second is terrible. I'm not sure if I've got something else open that may be slowing it down. It does slow down when I'm streaming because the 3D card is also rendering the avatar. That will speed it up a little bit. I expect it to be a little bit higher than 30 frames a second. Actually, it's dropping to 20 there. That is really bad. Hopefully the update next week will sort that out.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Okay, so that's that one done. Again, I just shot 4 probes in there. I probably only needed to do 2. Alright, it's frozen. Game's frozen. Oh, it's just been really slow. Right, off to the next moon.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Next one. Right, so the next one is a binary moon, which means they are orbiting around each other, which means they should be pretty close to each other. So my graphics card is only running at about 50%. The GPU is at 50%. Graphics card memory is at about 60%, and yet we are still only getting 30 frames a second. From here without moving.
Surface scan complete.
Oh, that one's got something on it. It's probably geological, as there's no atmosphere. Yeah, 2 geological things on there.
Surface scan complete.
It's got ephemerals and geysers again. And the other one looked the same. Although being close to each other, you'll expect some tidal forces to heat the planet up a bit, so it's not really surprising. Right, so again, they were both on. Was I actually selected on that one? Yeah, ephemerals and geysers. Right, so again, this moon has a moon, so these two should be close to each other as well. have been running for over an hour. I have found in the past that the longer I run, the lower the frame rate gets. So it may be something to do with that, or maybe something to do with the avatar that's being rendered. So actually, that is about to run out of time. So let's turn that off temporarily and see what that makes to the frame rate. So you should see the avatar disappear, slow down for those planets. Right, yeah, so we see the frame rate has not gone as high as I would have hoped, but it's above 60. So yeah, Animaze is taking some of that processor power. Let's see what that GPU is doing now. Right, so I did see a peak. So the GPU is still only running at about 50%.
Surface scan by 50%.
But we are seeing the frame rate climbing. Not quite close enough to that one.
Surface scan complete. Surface scan by 50%.
Again, it's got
Surface
geological
scan
activity, geysers and ephemerals. I didn't actually look at the other one to see if that had anything. Let's have a look at that one. That one didn't have anything at all. Alright, okay. Right, so one more moon around this planet, and then we're off to the next one. I shall turn the avatar back on so we've got somebody moving around on the screen.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so nothing on there of interest, and I did see around the next planet, the moons of that. I think pretty much all of them that we can land on had 2 forms of life on it. So let's head over to that. Right, so this is another relatively big planet. Didn't see any rings on this, so it doesn't matter what angle we come at it at. So we're probably close enough now to do that. So this is 13 probes, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do that in 6. So we'll do the cube pattern. So we see a sort of a cube building up around the planet, and hopefully this last one will hit right in the middle at the back. Yep, that should do it.
Surface scan complete.
Right, so again, we weren't expecting anything on there, and again we won't expect anything on the first moon either because we can't land on that one.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so we didn't find anything there as expected. Now we are expecting to find something on the remaining moon moons around this planet, or at least most of them. The planet's got a nice blue and white colour from this direction. It must have been on the far side when we scanned it initially. So just 2 probes.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
There we go, it's got bacterial colonies and fonicula. Fonticula. Still don't know how you pronounce that word. Anyway, they are sometimes cactusy type plants, and sometimes sort of big fungi looking type plants. But we will go down to the planet and scan those. So it looks like they're not in very large areas on the planet. Probably find they're in holes or valleys. So I'll normally try and get a little bit closer to the
Orbital flight engaged.
daylight line. Right, that spot there looks like it's got the highest concentration, or the largest area, anyway, not necessarily the highest concentration. But yeah, they don't look like they're in particularly large concentrations anywhere. Yeah, the ground they're on. Yeah, the ground they're on is a different colour to the rest of the ground. Right, that over there looks like a higher concentration area, so we'll go and land in that. Right. Oh, okay. There's something weird over there. I'm not sure if that is like a little hole or a mountain. Or just something with shadows. It's just a little rock formation. Right, so we should be able to see these quite clearly from inside the spaceship, particularly at this height. There's some over there. And there's some more. Oh, there's huge piles of them straight in front of us. So, yeah, they're not going to be that hard to find. Put the landing gear down and land.
Landing gear deployed.
autopilot's taken over again. Alright, it's fighting me. I'll let it take over.
Drive assist on. No gravity warning.
Right, so these are the blue
Drive assist off.
blue cactusy type ones. These seem to be far more prevalent around towards the centre of the galaxy. Didn't see any of these at all around the edge of the galaxy.
Drive assist on.
Alright, I'll jump to the far side of this lot. I don't think I have to go too far apart on these to get a different scan. Let's see if that's far enough.
Drive assist off.
Nope, that's not far enough. Let's see if we can get a good silhouette where I stand on top of the SRV, and we'll move the camera around behind us. Now I want to try and get one of them quite close in. Right, that looks pretty good like that. I'll turn the frame rate off as well. 18's a bit too depressing. Right, take the print screen and I'll save that. And I'll get the planet name and save it with the planet name. Right, okay, that's that done. While we're here, I might as well select the next planet. Just let me do that this time. You didn't let me do that last time. Right, so yeah, we now need to go and drive around, find 2 more of those a little bit further away, and we'll then go to the next moon. which I suspect will probably have the same
Drive assist on.
things on it. These should be far enough away.
Drive assist off.
Yep, that's the second scan. So we need one more of those. So we need to go about a kilometre between them to get different
Drive
samples.
assist on.
That's probably far enough.
Drive assist off.
These do have a totally different look when you shine light through them. So if we go to the back here, we see they're a very gel-like looking. But when we look at the front with the light shining on them, they're a little bit more coloured. Right, that's that sample complete.
Drive assist on.
Right, lined up with the docking hole. Right, so that's this moon done. We'll now go off and do the next one.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
listen closer to the spaceship, it does give you audio clues as to when you're about to overshoot. The sound does change, so if you get it quick enough, you can manage not to overshoot. So I just did a little dip there, which got me back on. Right, so I'm suspecting I'm going to be landing on this planet, which is why I've come so close. We can just see its atmosphere there. Oh, probably don't need that many probes. It's got bacterial colonies and the fonticula again as well. So let's go down and see what we can find. Again, it appears to be
Orbital flight engaged.
Appears to be in the valleys again. Yeah, so luckily it appears to be in the flatter areas on this planet, which is good because that means we can get the SRV out and drive around. When they're in the mountainous regions, it's a real pain trying to find them. It looks like we found high concentration areas, so we shouldn't have to travel too far to get the different samples. It's a little bit bumpy here, may have to try a little bit harder to find somewhere to land.
Landing gear deployed.
Autopilot's taken over. It must have found somewhere. Yeah, considering this is a computer landing this, it's not that good at it. Its misery. Let's turn it off and then manually. Alright, there we go. Flat piece of land I found a minute ago before it flew somewhere else. There we go, there's a blue spot. Orientation, there we go. not seen any plants yet, so I'm going to have to
Drive
drive a little bit
assist
further than I was hoping.
No gravity warning.
So some plants there, and there is also some minerals.
Drive assist off.
Oh, I've got the planet in the background there. That's actually those red ones. Yeah, that looks quite good with them being red. Let's get a picture with them being illuminated from the rear lights. Alright, kneel down, turn the camera on. Yeah, I like that one. And save the screenshot. We'll select the next planet again while we're at it. Right, so we are on that planet. So copy the name of that one and set the destination for the next one. Right, let's go and find some more.
Drive assist on.
Flying it in the general direction of those minerals. I suspect those ones there are probably a little bit too close. Yeah, I don't want to go too far out of the way to get the minerals because I don't want a spaceship to take off. Right, there they are. Metallic meteorite. So yeah, metallic meteorites carry the rarest of the elements, and that isn't really what I'm after at the moment, so it might not be that much use. But let's shoot it and see what we get. Tin. I don't need tin. Neobidium. I think that is something I did need. Yes, I need large quantities. Oh, I need 2 of those. So. Open up the
Cargo scoop
cargo
deployed.
scoop. So we're now full of neobidium. That's one more thing I don't need. Alright, and now we're just going off the plants. So we notice G is a lot lower on this planet, so I can fly a lot further in the SRV. Not seeing very many plants though. I think that might be some over there. Yeah.
Drive assist off. Drive assist on.
Don't go any further away from the ship. It's quite rough terrain to try and drive over, so yeah, flying seems to be the best option.
Drive assist off.
So that is that sample completed. I think I'm going to call at the end of the stream, so I'll just get back into the spaceship. There are 3 more moons, maybe 4, around this planet, which I will scan tomorrow. But I imagine for you guys watching that will be pretty much exactly the same as the last 2 planets that we've just done. So yeah, I'll call that at the end of the stream. Right, so yeah, in this stream we've only been in this system. It's a system of an Earth-like world, underwater world, and there's been one planet and I think 5 moons with life on it. And so far we've scanned one of the planets and 2 of the moons. So it's not been a bad haul for data-wise. Right, so I'll just give you a quick recap of what we've been doing on the tour so far before we end the stream. I'm just waiting for the web page to load. Right, okay, so yeah, if we see subtitles pop up, that's because it's picking up the audio feed from Twitch. So this is the galaxy map, and we started in the bubble. So the page is still downloading. We travelled to the tip of the or the closest tip of a spiral arm, and we followed that spiral arm around. And so today I started about here. Actually, maybe a little bit further back. Yeah, somewhere around here. And we're now somewhere. Actually, yeah, I think I probably started around there today. And we're now in a system around here, which is where the stream has been entirely. So yeah, next we're going to this fleet carrier, following the fleet carriers around the galactic arms to the center of the galaxy, and then we'll follow the next arm around up to Beagle Point, and then to the tip of the galaxy. And then from there we're going to follow, we'll visit that fleet carrier and that one on the way to this tip of the galaxy. So that trip there alone is probably about the same as the distance between Sol and the center of the galaxy and back. We'll then follow the spiral arm around again into the center of the galaxy, follow the next spiral arm around, out, missing Sol, and we'll go to this tip of the spiral arm, and then we'll hot-foot it back to Sol, picking up the last 2 fleet carriers in the deep space support array on the way back to Sol. I will be stopping at Colonia, hopefully, to pick up the new engineers which are due to be released there. I imagine that will be about 2 months away from now by the time I get to there, if not more. So it should be long enough for them to turn those engineers on. And I'll be stopping at the space station near the center of the galaxy to sell all my data when I get there, and I'll also be stopping here just this short bit afterwards, sell data in a space station there. There may be some space stations around here which I don't know about, and then this will be, from there it'll be the longest trip between space stations, but as there's loads of fleet carriers around everywhere, it's not that dangerous traveling the extent of the galaxy anymore. Right, okay, so thanks everybody for watching, and that is the end of the stream.